Hello, everyone. Praise God. I'm delighted to join this year's Wonders of Grace International Conference. And I would like to thank the church, the elders, and the senior pastor and his family, especially for the consistency of this conference. And so today I want to uh, share a few things on AI. Of course, you might hear the word now in your daily activities. AI is a buzzword now. So I also think it's important as a church that we discuss, at least get to know a few things about AI so that we can understand the world around us. Yeah, so I have a few slides to share so we can begin already. What knowledge increase and the safety of the iconic generation. For those who don't know me, my name is Matcha Edele, and for others, I think I'm quite familiar. So right now you can just, as a profession, okay, yeah, I'm studying. I'm doing my master's in techno-mathematics, that's industrial mathematics. And then, yeah, you can call me a machine learning enthusiast or AI enthusiast. Yeah. So let's begin. So what is AI? By the way, AI is artificial intelligence. But before I go into I want to talk about programming and machine learning. So it's like a gradual, uh, step. So what is programming? With a simple example, imagine you're selling goods, doesn't matter what you're selling. You need to, if somebody is buying more than one product, you need to calculate the price, right? So this is 3,000, the other product is 5,000, 6,000. And then, you don't want to make mistakes because sometimes you might be tired or maybe absence of mind. You might make a mistake while doing this calculation. So for that sake and for many other reasons, we have what is called a calculator, right? You can see on the screen, I have a picture of a calculator here. And then you can see the plus sign on the calculator. I'm sure many have used this already. So instead of doing this calculation every time or cracking your brain every now and then, what you can do is that you can have a device, you can program this operation on it. So you have so in other words, you have a problem, right? You have the logic to solve the problem, and then you take the logic of this problem and then you put it in a device. So every now and then you don't have to do it on your own. You have solved your problem by creating a logic to solve it. And then you put it on a device like a calculator, and every now and then you can calculate things. So another simple example is the pumping machine. If you're using the old fashioned pumping machine, you have to always go to the switch once the tank is filled, and then you switch it off. So maybe the newer models, I guess, or if there's not even more advanced ones now, that you can just maybe switch it on, and then once the tank is filled, it automatically goes off. Or maybe there are even ones that can automatically detect that the tank level is low, and then if there is electricity, they're able to activate pumping of water themselves. So that's in essence, that's programming. You can have a problem, create a logic for it, then program it on a device, and then that's the solution. Now we go into machine learning. Machine learning is a bit advanced, right? In the sense that not all problem would have a simple logic to solve. And when the problem gets complicated, right, it becomes more difficult to program. So I have a simple example on the screen here. You have different numbers handwritten numbers by different people. So the question is, if we have like 1 million people and then they have different handwriting. So if you want to create a device to recognize uh, what is written, how would the device understand that, okay, this is one written by Matthew, which is me. This is one written by someone else, maybe pastor. This is so like we have so many handwritings. So it gets complicated to program this. For youth in the house, if you're used to programming languages like Python or JavaScript, whatever language it is, you understand that you have to write so many conditional statements. And what that means is like, okay, if uh, Matthew writes one like this, take it as one. If somebody else writes one like this, and then you have to do it for so many instances that you have, it gets complicated to program. So a solution is, okay, let's teach machine how to learn. And what do? We take different handwritten digits, for instance, from so many people. We can write the same number, 111. We write it differently, and then we label it for the computer as one. So the computer says that, okay, you say everything here is one. Okay, fine. Then it begins to like look into everything and then try to understand that, okay, I think there's a relationship between, or there is a similarity in the way everybody is writing their one. So I mean, this is deeper, but so this is in a way machine understand that, okay, this is one. So if a new person writes the same number, it can automatically detect that, okay, this is one, without even seeing that handwriting before. So that's simply machine learning. So a more familiar example is let's take a loan app, for instance. There are loan applications now that you don't have to, nobody needs to attend to you. They don't need a person to approve it. It's automatically approved. So how is this done? Someone feeds into a machine past records. Okay, I have 500 people who have taken loan maybe 10 years ago. And then it looks into the details of people that have paid back, people who did not pay back. So for instance, they ask almost the same question: name, where are you working, your family, different questions, personal questions, and then they compare it, people that paid and people that did not pay. So now when you feed this to a machine, you try to understand the relationship between the people that paid back and the people that did not pay, and then try to say, okay, maybe if you are doing this particular thing, maybe if you have this particular checkbox ticked, it simply means that you will be able to pay back the loan or you will not be able to. So, and then in a way, the machine is able to decide, okay, grant this loan or do not. So that's machine learning. So of course, all of these things are connected, right? We started from programming, having a simple logic, creating a solution. Now we're not creating a logic, right? We're still solving the same problem. So, and the next step is artificial intelligence, which is AI that we're really discussing today. What is AI? The concept of AI is that I have here artificial brain. Of course, these are not standard names. So, but for the purpose of this session, so we would pass. So what we're trying to create with AI is artificial brain. So the fact that there's artificial brain means that there is is it original brain? So I'm referring to our brain now, the human brain. So the idea of artificial brain comes from the fact that we want to create something that is similar to how our brain works. And how does the brain works? Actually, we do not really know. Also, I'm not a medical practitioner, but it has been established that the smallest unit of the brain is called neuron. It's called a neuron. And then in the human brain, there are so many neurons. There's approximately 10 raised power 10. I don't know how to call that as a, but approximately 10 raised power 10 neurons in the brain. So these are the smallest unit of the brain. And also what has been established is that there's a connection between all of these neurons in the brain. For instance, one neuron in the brain is connected to about 10,000 to 100,000 other neurons. So if there's one neuron in the brain, just know that it has connection to between 10,000 to 100,000 or 1 million other I mean, I'm not the exact figure, but just get the idea, other neurons. So yeah, so in essence, we know that this is what is going on in the brain, but we do not understand how these neurons are sending messages to each other. So let me create a simple scenario for people who are not really into all of this jargons. So imagine you are trying to learn the alphabet. That's A, B, C, D to Z. That's, I think, 26 letters in the alphabet, right? So now we have the human brain. Assuming there are 26 neurons in the brain. So each neuron will learn one letter. So we have 26 neurons. First neuron will learn A, the second neuron will learn B, and so on. So now when you ask a human, okay, what letter is this? The human is able to tell you A. Okay, you say, okay, yeah, the brain is working, something like that. But in reality, there are neurons in the brain storing this information. This is just a simple scenario created for understanding, not exactly what is happening. So what we want to do is that we want to create an artificial brain. But do not forget, we don't know exactly how these neurons are sending messages to each other, because we know that they are definitely communicating with each other. So then it becomes more complicated to model the brain. I will just stick to the field of mathematics now. Leave, yeah. So what we have been able to do is that we have been able to copy the simple idea of the brain, which is that there are small, simple things which are connected, becoming a powerful thing. So then what we have done is that let us create simple things also, right? We define some things and the simple things, and then we connect it together and see if we can get the same results, even though we are not using exactly the brain, the human brain. So then it works. So we have what is called the artificial neural networks, which is from the simple idea that um, neurons are connected in the human brain. So we connect our own neurons together. And then in essence, what this artificial neuron is, or what they are, they're just functions. I mean, we do not all need to know this, but maybe also the youth in the house, you know your linear equation, for example, your y equals to mx plus c, or maybe your quadratic equation. That's exactly what we are calling neurons in mathematics now. So you create each of them, you say, okay, yeah, these are neurons. But yeah, that's just by the way. So now we have artificial neural networks, which is what I'm referring to here as the artificial brain. They are simple things connected together, and at the end of the day, they can give out an information. They can work in codes like the human brain. So just to go further, there are 3 layers for an artificial brain here, artificial neural network. The first layer is the input layer. So see this as um, you asking the brain a question and the brain giving you an answer. So the first layer is your input layer, the one you ask questions, the layer that passes the questions to the brain. I'm calling the hidden layer brain in this case. So now there's a layer that you don't know how it's working, but it's doing something. So that's the hidden layer, it's hidden. And then the output layer gives you the answer you're looking for. So yeah, I hope I've been able to create a nice scenario of what an artificial brain is. So now let's go into the definition really. So what is artificial intelligence? As I already said, we're trying to create something similar to the human brain, which can think, which can learn, can solve problems. This is exactly what we can do as humans. And then, so let me just put a disclaimer. The thinking and the learning for AI here is not exactly the thinking and the learning for the brain. The reason is because you are teaching this thing. So what you've not, I mean, okay, maybe I just leave it open like that. Just take it as we're thinking, and then yeah, we have a machine that can also think. So look at examples here. I have some examples. We have self-driving cars. Cars, they don't require humans to drive them now. You can train them, right? We have facial recognition, recognizing different humans, or to just recognizing objects. We have the popular one, the ChatGPT, that almost everyone is using. Those are language models. So these are language models, and I'm sure maybe the youths or almost everyone should be familiar to this. You can ask it any questions. Yeah, different topics. If you have an idea, you're trying to model it, make it better, you can chat ChatGPT, you can do your assignments and the likes on it. Yeah, so what I should also mention is that this knowledge is not new, even though it's like the buzzword. Everyone try to attach AI to every simple thing now. But the reality is that this knowledge is not new. What is new is how fast it is developing now. And yes, because we already have an artificial neuron as far back as 1843. What we do not have is we don't have fast supercomputers. We do not have fast processors that can take advantage of this information that we have a long time ago. But now we do, and then things are progressing really fast. Yeah, so what are the risks involved in AI? I don't know if I already mentioned, but I can say this again. Remember, this is artificial brain, right? What is artificial brain? Does it know? How do you train it? How does it know what it knows? So this is just like a child. You have, think of a machine. A machine here can be your laptop, it can be your mobile phone, it can be anything. So uh, just think of it also like a child. Blank initially, you have to teach it to know this, you have to teach it to know that. That's the same way it works here. So you definitely have uh, data that you want to train this machine on. This your mobile phone, this your computer. What you want to train it on. So an example is okay, you're trying to think of anything. You're trying to create an AI that can recognize everyone maybe coming into the church. Like, okay, once somebody gets into the church, it says, oh, maybe a voice assistant just says, oh, welcome so to church, and then calls the person's name. So what you would have done is that maybe you would have taken different images of everyone with their name and label. Initially, you would have passed it into this machine, you would have trained it with it. It will be able to recognize I mean, maybe not the best example, but able to recognize this person when they come to church. So that's exactly. So now, what are the risks involved in this? First is misinformation. If you train it wrongly, like if you train it on the wrong information, it will always give the wrong information. So in essence, if you want to train an AI to solve maybe math questions, and then you are using the minus sign as addition. So what that means is that this AI can only do 5 minus 3 as instead of doing 5 plus 3. So this is wrong. So what this means is that it can spread wrong information, which means it might be trained wrongly. It might be biased, biased in the sense that if you have a data that is not balanced, your information might be skewed in one direction. An example is maybe you're trying to, maybe you train AI, and then in your AI is only maybe male character, men that are in this. So what would happen is that maybe you now you ask this machine some questions about women. It will give you information, it might give you some things which are particular to men. So for instance, what example can I use? Something really simple. Okay, I can't think of one. So in essence is that you might be prescribing a drug that is meant for men to women, because only the information on this machine is about men, and now it's giving you a solution for a woman. So this will be the wrong information. So this is exactly what I mean by misinformation. Job changes is also a risk, especially for the youth in the house. With the introduction of AI, it simply means like there is no room for mediocrity. So uh, if you are into a particular field, you should know your field properly. So as I also said earlier, the artificial brain cannot perform better than the human brain. That is established. Like it's we also explain the reason. If you remember, one of the reasons is that we do not even understand how the brain is sending this information. So also we created just a simple structure from the idea of the brain. So it's not exactly equal to the brain. So but what the advantage is that it doesn't sleep. That's one. You can push as many things to it as possible, as big as your uh, machine power is. So what that means is maybe you can process a whole lot of information at once, whereas maybe as human you might be having might might feel too much for you to process at a particular time. Yeah, as I'm saying, job changes. So it simply means that if you are into a particular field, please you need to try to know that field very well. Then you can be sure that okay, perhaps you know more than here in this particular field. And then there are the simple jobs. I call them simple, not simple in the sense, but they are things that are very easy for AI to. They are jobs that are very easy for AI to replace. Maybe I won't mention any now, but you should try to understand that there will be changes, job changes, and job role will change. So that some job roles will be scrapped. Privacy. I wouldn't dwell much on this because uh, these days we have many information. People put their information on Instagram, Twitter, and the like. So even before AI, we have we have shared a lot of information out there. So with AI, definitely uh, this information are consumed. They are used in training and AI. So control, which is also very important. Um, there's a risk that we might lose control. I mean, I doubt it, but we have to put it there as a disclaimer. It is possible. And one of the reason is that, as I said, we do not understand how the brain is working. So we created something and then modeling the brain. Also, there are some things going on uh, in the connection of even our artificial brain. There's a connection between all of the neurons, artificial neurons that we created. They're also communicating. We know definitely what the output of each neuron is, right? We can do some calculations, but there are still some things hidden in the way it works. So I think even up to now, it's still the same. So that gives a whole lot of room for control. So who gets the control in the end? So is it possible that we lose control and then we live in a world of, yeah, but I'm just um, put it out there. There is a control issue. It's possible. Unlikely, but it's possible. And then if you want to know more about this, there are movies that, is it Black Room? There are a lot of episodes on the Black Room that explains how we can lose control of AI. I mean, interesting movie, I think. So you can check out movies like that. So what I should also say is that the risks of AI should not be approached with fear. So like the calculator, when we add calculators, probably some people would say, oh, children will no longer be able to calculate things on their head. They won't know anything, this and that. But it turns out that this is not the case. The calculator is there to speed up process. For instance, if a child might know how to do 20 times 20, but there are other things that you need to probably focus on. You can do it and then just speed up your process. Maybe you're trying to create a solution and then you have to every time do manual simple calculations that you can easily program. So another example is cars, right? We have cars now, and there are so many accidents. So because of that, we did not say, okay, no, we have to scrap cars. We should not use cars because of accidents. We understood the risk involved. So it's the same approach we need to take with AI, because with AI, a lot of advancements will come. And then, so what should happen is we should approach understanding the risk involved, and then maximizing the use of AI. Okay, lastly, I want to just share a few things on day-to-day use of AI. Of course, some of us are already using it. Um, Starting with the voice assistants, yeah, mobile phones with voice assistants now, you can easily um, create alarms. You can easily create a reminder. You can schedule your day-to-day activities even with voice assistants like Siri, Alexa now. So that's one. Two, which I think students in the house might be using also already, is the creating assignments, solving your assignments, reading with ChatGPT, for instance. But what I should say here is that engage AI rather than trying to just copy solution from it. So in essence, when you have an assignment, don't just push the assignment to ChatGPT, for instance, and start copying everything out. As I already mentioned, that this information might be wrong. So, but what you need to do is try to engage, try to understand what the answer it's giving you, question it, you know, and then at the end of the day, you have more knowledge of what you are doing. It will give you direction faster. And when it is right, of course, it gives you a faster solution. And another one is if you have a store, you're selling daily products, you can maybe use AI for store arrangement, just like it is done in standard stores. There's a way they arrange products in standard stores such that if you go into a store trying to buy something, you might end up buying more things because they have strategically positioned items such that if you buy this, you should buy the next, you should buy something similar. So it's more like a setup. So you can use this even in your own store to arrange your products in a way that is efficient such that you can make more profit. Another thing you can do even without AI is taking stocks of your products. You would know what products you sold more on Monday, on Tuesdays, or maybe monthly. Definitely, if you take a stocks in a year and then you see that, okay, these are the products you sell more in January, these products you have to put them more in February, and then you know that for the next years, you know how to position yourself for more profits. And you can even ask AI for suggestion on what more to add. This is what you're selling. It's okay. What more should you sell? Maybe based on the season, based on the weather, and then you get faster suggestions, and then you keep yourself in the loop in the game, and then you keep on maximizing your profit. So this I want to share with you today. Hope it's not too much, and I hope it's also simple enough to understand. So just like I said, rounding up now, AI is here to stay. It is here to stay. It is really um, behind the fast growth we are witnessing now in the world. There are a lot of things that AI is helping with. So yeah, just embrace it and then maximize it. So thank you for listening. Yeah, see you.